Good morning or happy afternoon, everybody. I'm Patty.
I'm Kari.
And we are StudioR12 Stencils, and we are here to show you how to do DIY signs, painting, stenciling, color. We're going to do all kinds of cool things today, so we're glad that you're here. Tell us where you're from.
Yeah, happy to have you here. So last week we covered stenciling for beginners. We've released some new beginner kits and just went over the basics.
Yeah.
And since we did the basics last week, we thought we'd get a little bit more in depth this week, and we are doing some of Patty's favorite pro hacks for stenciling.
Hacks. Yeah, using things that you would never think to use in ways that are weird, or just things that make it much easier to DIY. And what I love about what we do and share with your DIY buddies, this stuff doesn't just apply to people that stencil, it applies to people who DIY.
Yep.
So I've been a professional crafter for, I think, 35 years, so I've been doing this a really long time. I've taken lessons all across the country from people who know what they're doing, and so I've learned a whole lot.
Well, and the hacks that we're going to talk about today are things that
they're every day.
Yeah,
almost.
just even if we've talked about, people making their own stencils and doing their own kind of doing their own thing, these tools are still tools that they're going to want to know about.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't matter if you're using vinyl, if you're freehanding, if you're pattern painting, it doesn't matter. Any of that, all of these apply to what we're going to do. So I hope that you're ready for some pro tips.
And it is freezing here. It was snowing earlier today, just a little bit.
It's snow tonight.
A friend in Vermont had posted they have a lot of snow. Michigan has snow, so we are sitting here in our t-shirts acting like it's not snowing outside.
My sweater is right there.
And if Patty's wearing a sweater, you know it's cold.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go over real quick over on our YouTube channel last weekend. Let me know if I've got the angle good for you, Rusty. We are working through our 4-part patriotic series. So last weekend we released part 2, which was layering stencils. And this weekend we are going to release the portion where we paint the words, and that is going to be about drop shadow.
Yeah, drop shadow is a very, very important lesson to know about with a stencil, because if you don't know how to do it with a stencil, then you have to do it freehand. And that means you have to have brush skills, and if you don't have those brush skills, then it can be frustrating.
Yes, very.
So this is a perfect drop shadow everywhere. So when you do drop shadow with a stencil, you're going to get perfection.
Yeah,
and
it's so easy. Guys, the video is 10 minutes for this coming Saturday, so you're going to learn an awesome skill in 10 minutes.
Yeah, hey, let us know if you like the shorter, broken up into bits and stuff like that. That is really important for us. A lot of times, I want to give you all the meat, and I want to give you all the tools, and I want to let you know everything, so I tend to maybe be a little long-winded. And so, anyway, Steve's over there laughing right now.
Box.
So, so we took these and cut them into nuggets of information so that if you don't want to scrub through the video, which, by the way, there is a timestamp in the bottom of all of our videos. Kari, Thunder Typer Kari, gets in there and painstakingly puts all of the timestamps, meaning if you want to know at what minute I show you tip number 5, you can just scroll right to that and go to the minute and enter that in. So, and while you're there scrubbing and doing all the things, you can subscribe and ring the bell so that you get notified when we have new content.
Yeah, and we have a couple people who've commented. Glennis said that she loves the shorter videos. Sometimes she doesn't have time for a long one. Becky says she likes the short videos, but she said don't make us wait a whole week, LOL.
Yeah, well, so what's great about the YouTube channel is we have playlists.
Yes.
And in the playlist, what you can do is if you know you want to see the whole thing, then you can, subscribe and then ring that bell, and then you'll be notified. And once the last one's up, you can go to the playlist and watch the whole thing.
And Kat said she likes to have a whole lesson at one time rather than the broken up stuff. So We're doing a little bit of both. I have a video that we're super excited about that is coming up here in a couple weeks, and it is a full lesson in one.
And I think the one that we filmed yesterday or
last week.
We
did two.
Friday,
we did two. You've done two, and I've done one that we have that after this series, the next 3 after that are full lessons in one video.
So I have an announcement that Kari doesn't know I'm announcing.
Oh,
I'm scared.
Today is, you want to give us some hearts for this, is my birthday eve.
it is Patty's birthday
Tomorrow's
eve.
my birthday. So give us some hearts, give me some hearts, and say hi and happy birthday. I am declaring birthday month.
Yeah, so Patty's declaring birthday month. I am declaring that you are going to want to make sure that you are signed up for the newsletter
Very true.
today,
Yeah.
so that tomorrow and maybe a couple days after that you're going to get our newsletters, because you are going to want to get our newsletters and you're going to want to celebrate Patty's birthday with us.
Yeah, you guys, what we do in our newsletters is we inform you and we let you have deals and discounts and sales and goodie bags and celebrate in our oopsies when we have those. So it's a really good thing. You can always, just don't read the thing if you don't have time, but you want to be in if you want to know what the deals are. And that's where we release them. We don't do it on social media because it's for our true stencil fans, the people that actually sign up.
Yeah. And
we
we put something on Facebook every now and then, just to do it. But on a daily basis, you are finding out about the sales and the lessons.
And what's new as well. So
Yeah.
shall we, do you have, I don't know what you need to do before we start.
I want to
I'm
do
gonna do this. What is in your tumbler today?
You do that. I'm going to ask a quick question to see if we have any country music fans here. We have a new stencil that says "You'll be my glass of wine. I'll be your shot of whiskey." I think that's a Blake Shelton song.
I don't know
Yes,
the
Rusty
singers.
tells me it's a Blake Shelton song. So if you are a Blake Shelton fan or country music fan, let us know in the comments. We have a couple of these to give away.
Yay.
Yay. Shall we begin? We shall begin. So we're going to go over 5 pro craft hacks. And our number 1 is the StudioR12 MultiMasker.
Yeah, and these are not in any numerical order.
Nope.
By like number 1 doesn't mean it's the number 1. And the bonus, stick around to the end, there's a bonus hack as well, or pro hack. It's not the best one either. The best one is whichever one helps you today. That's the best trick. Okay, so the MultiMasker. Briefly talk about this. You've seen these a lot on our videos. This was a brainchild of one day. I had a whole bunch of like really micro detail that I had to protect from the color of the paint on my brush. And I had a piece of stencil and I kind of tucked it into the corner and it worked brilliantly. So what we have done is this has got a ruler on it. It's got some tools like checks and polka dots so that you can freestyle, add some embellishment. And it has a lot of organic wavy stuff. I use the nose. This guy looks like he's laughing to me. And that's his nose right there, wah wah. And so I use this piece so many times because when letters are loopy or circly or whatever, these little humpy doodahs are super wonderful. And then these are great for little corners and tight areas. But what we do is, I've got this is our Welcome to Our Fire Pit stencil. And this is one of our number 1s. And you guys, our stencils are reusable and you can wash them. You do not need to wash them to use them again and again. Once you get to 5 times, 6 times, something like that, that's when you're going to want to take them to the sink. And there is a video on how to take care of your stencils and how to wash them. So I'm just going to use this board that we used for something else. I want to talk about the part where, and then if this is bigger, if your stencil is bigger than your board and you need to tape through an empty hole, and that will get your tape adhered, and that's a really good way of making that stick. I've got a little hack for our hack. So what happens when you have paint and you've got a big old brush and you want to use your bigger brushes, because the bigger brushes will get you there faster. And this is a dome brush, and so we all know about our lovely dome brush. If you guys love them, put a comment below. And but when you've got something like these letters, maybe I want my letters gold, and maybe I'm gonna want this band or border to be red, then what I can do with this is I can lay the MultiMasker there, and I can put my color right against there, and then I can just slide it along and then keep going, and it just slides right along. Last week, I was painting and I needed 2 MultiMaskers because I was doing something that had, it was just in a very isolated little spot, and the whole project I was struggling to hold down 2 maskers. So what I did, this is the hack of the hack, is I took the stick and re-stick, which is a fabulous product for making the back of your stencil sticky, and I put the stick and re-stick on the back with the jumbo dauber. And so you just take that and you just ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, and then let it dry, and it is going to be repositionably sticky. And then also you can use the little tape runner, which I will do on this one. And flip that guy over to just make a portion. This is removable with rubbing alcohol. So if you put it on and you don't want it sticky anymore, then you can use your just everyday rubbing alcohol, and you can put it on a paper towel and rub that off. You can also take the stick and re-stick off with the rubbing alcohol. And mind-blowing trick that I discovered like last week, I do a lot of gardening, and I do a lot of things with, like, you know, organizing in totes and things. If you write with a Sharpie on your Rubbermaid totes, you can take the Sharpie off with the rubbing alcohol too. So I can make garden markers with plastic, and then I can take the labeling off and use them again year after year after year and not throw them away because it says tomatoes and I need it to say cucumbers. So anyway, I didn't know that the Sharpie was removable.
Elizabeth asked, how do you take off the stick if you don't want it on anymore?
With rubbing alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that is tip number 1. It's the MultiMasker, and it's amazing. Okay, what's our next one? I think it's
number
the
2
iPad.
Is the iPad. Number 2, you're gonna want an iPad. You can do it on a computer.
You can do this
but
on
we're
your
using it
computer.
on the iPad.
I probably on an app, a cell phone app or something like that. Okay, so I am going to put this down here, and we're going to use this one. This is color.adobe.com, and Kari's going to put a link under there in the chat thing. Is that what it's called on this whatever platform we're on today? Okay, I want to talk about this one because this is something that we all use. We will find something like this that gives us the color palette that's being used, and it shows you what your warm is, and it shows you your colors. And then it's usually like, you know, Sherwin-Williams or Benjamin Moore or something like that. You see them on Pinterest. So this app is so amazing for finding a color scheme. Okay, so you go on Pinterest and you find something gorgeous. You see something with a beautiful color palette, and you want to isolate out what the colors are. So this is what we're after, is to find a palette without having to find Sherwin-Williams palette maker. So I'm going to go, Steve, help me out to get a replacing image. Here we go. You guys, I am a Neanderthal sometimes. Okay, so we're going to go here. You can move these little dots around, and that will show what colors you have.
And that's just a shot you got off Pinterest.
Yeah, this is just an image from Pinterest. And so now these are the colors. So what this does, when you see a, you know, shale greeny gray color, and you see it in coordination with a whole bunch of other colors, then what happens is it makes the color change in your mind a little bit. So when you can isolate the colors into chips like this, then that's great. The other thing that it does is it gives you this, tell me what this number thing is, the hex code,
I think that's it, yeah.
Yeah, so it gives you the color code for like using, oh good Lord, color, whatever the color code is, okay? But if you take that color number into Sherwin-Williams, they'll be able to look that up, and then they'll be able to match it. So it gives you that number. We have Sherwin-Williams in our town and Walmart, so that's why I keep saying that. Okay.
Yeah, and we've done a video on this. I put the link on Facebook and YouTube. I also shared the link for the color wheel. Cindy said that she had seen our previous video on it, and that she just used it yesterday, the site, and that it was super helpful.
You definitely want to download the app. It's free. And then you can take anything that you choose.
I don't know if it's an app. I think it's just a
website.
Okay. Use.
Yeah, she said she used it for a color scheme. She was stuck on a color, so it helped.
So I think that's one of our, besides how not to bleed under, which if you don't want to bleed under your stencils, you need the dome brush. We show it on almost every video, so you need these. There literally isn't a replacement for this. But this is so valuable if you take a picture of your own house and you want to go, so say I use cloth napkins in my house, okay? And if I took a picture of the decor and the colors that I use in my house, then I could go to the fabric store with this app and I could choose the color of, the floral pattern or the geometric pattern that I want in the quilting material aisle, and then I will have a perfect match and not have to pull it from my mind and be off 5 shades of green or gray or whatever the thing is. So this is a brilliant tool to use. Then when you're trying to paint a sign for, say, Christmas, right? And you want it to match this, well, you wouldn't use colors that don't go with this. You would want to harmonize that. And so when you start messing with all of the different gradients and all these things right here, it will show you things that like go with it and stuff like that. I'm not going to get all the way into this. Download it, play with it, share tips with us if you find some, and like you're going to love it.
Okay, I'm going to take over for just a minute.
Good.
We do have our giveaway winners. Darlia is going to be our winner on Facebook of the shot of whiskey. She said she's going to marry Blake Shelton one day, so good luck with that.
Yay, Darlia! I want to come to the wedding.
and use our stencil at your wedding if you
right.
don't mind. And then on YouTube, Rosa is going to be the winner of this.
Yay,
so
Rosa.
Darlia, we will get your address. I'll message you on Facebook, and Rosa, I will send you my email address so that you can do that. And then I do have a question. Kat says, I started painting on bottles, but I have a hard time removing the glue from the labels. What do you suggest for removing label glues?
I have the answer to this. So we make our own homemade wine. And I know, right? It's like, so I'm a super, somewhere along the line, like I bake bread and I make wine and, do all that. I garden, I paint my own things. I'm DIYer across my life. And so we have reused bottles. The stuff you put in the laundry to make it white, not bleach. What's it called?
Fabric softener?
No, it's OxyClean. That's what it is. I don't actually use that in my laundry. If any of you have some tips about laundry use of that, but if you take a bucket and you fill it with water, and you have to fill the bottles, if you're doing a whole bunch of them, fill the bottles with some water so that they stay sunk, and then you just pour a scoop of the OxyClean into your hot water, and you let them sit there for a minute, and the bottles will slide right off. If they don't slide off completely, just use one of those metal scrubby things, and then it all comes off.
And I'm going to, I agree with what Beth says. I use lemon essential oil on all things. Patty got a sticker stuck to her door, her new door that she got in her office, and we just poured it on there. I've used that we pulled tape up off the floor, and it was that old silver tape, and it had been there forever.
Yeah.
And then you couldn't tell it was there. So a lemon essential oil is what I use.
And I've got a fun story. So I went online and I was ordering essential oils, and I bought a lemon essential oil. It's like that big. It's so big. I could probably take off everybody's labels for them.
For hospital use.
Yes,
like it's by the gallon.
Yeah, it's in a giant silver container, and I'm not sure what I did wrong.
But people have some really great ideas. Acetone nail polish remover, borax, Goo Gone. So there's a lot of a heat
gun,
hair dryer, something hot.
Yeah. Something hot.
I think it's supposed to say heat label with a hairdryer and then peel the label and then remove the residue with the lemon.
Yeah, and you know, we got, you guys that got our stickers not too long ago, we've got a brand new ginormous machine that will print these stickers and do all the things. And we have learned a tremendous amount of information about the adhesive that goes on the back of things. And that is why stickers don't come off, is some companies just really go gung-ho on the adhesive. And it is difficult to remove some of them, and some of them just fall right off.
Yes.
You know, so we have learned all kinds of things doing this. It is a neat thing.
It is neat. Okay, let's go to number 3. And number 3, I'm going to have you grab that book.
Okay.
And number 3 is using bits and bobs of your stencils to create something.
Okay, so the bits and bobs are, for example, you do a background. Background can be a bit and a bob, really. But this is a clock face stencil, so that's part of a clock stencil. This is part of a monogram stencil alphabet.
It was a word.
It was
the definition for girl.
Ah, cool. So, for example, if you wanted to have an F in the middle of, if you wanted your monogram and that was the right size, you could W it, you could F it, you could E it, you could do whatever. So every one of these letters is a monogram. You just have to, brilliant.
That's what we did, and that's what we did with Steve's too. With Steve's, the town we live in is Gal Police, and we had an old Gal Police stencil laying around, and the P was really pretty, and that's the one we chose for his.
Perfect. And then this is a T-stripe stencil. So, and then
on the bottom shelf is the tea towel stripes. If you would want to show that.
Hang on just a second.
Bottom, under the fold. There you go. And then.
So tea towel stripes are. They also feed sack striping is what it's also called, ticking, and that kind of thing. So we've got this one stencil with all of these different versions of them. When we went to market in January, in Atlanta, it was amazing. Everything had a tea towel stripe on it. I mean, everything. And what I love about it is you can make it country, you can make it city, and even I sent Kari a message, and my husband was watching golf in some Masters game or something, and the guy's shirt was a giant tea towel stripe down the back side of his shirt. And I texted Kari the picture of the golfer because I was like, it's everywhere, you know? And she was like, why are we looking at golf?
I was like, yay, sports.
Yay, golfing.
And then another bits and bob we have,
Okay, and so this one is the same kind of thing. So this one we've taken and we've divided. If you want to see a video on how to get your round shape to have the division, I think we have a playlist for round porch signs or round welcome
door
signs.
Hangers, yes.
Yeah, door hangers.
I will share that.
And so this is a stencil that has just the ornaments on it, and it's a super beautiful stencil. You can use a striping stencil. You can use your T-square to make that line and tape it. Then you can put a welcome word, or you could get your own last name on there, and then you embellish it, and then there you go. You do not need to have specific stencils for specific things. You can use what you've already got.
Yes, and it gives you, we love stencils because you have endless options. You know, we could paint any of these signs a million different ways depending on the colors we choose. So the colors give you your options, but then once you start mixing and matching, it's literally endless.
It's amazing. Okay, what's next?
Next is number 4, and it is, I think, Patty's favorite tool. It's the Ghostwriter.
All right, guys. So we have learned a thing. I have been saying that the Ghostwriter is All right, so tomorrow I'm 58, and today my brain is acting like it already. So anyway, we have discovered that this is a ceramic lead, and so that is why it erases. So let's get down here and show that. So if I draw on this, I'm going to, it erases with liquid, with water, spit, and eraser. And I don't know if you've ever used a graphite marking tool on your projects, but they smear. And especially if you use a cheap pencil and you use that eraser on the back end, the hard red erasers, don't do that. Just say no, because it is terrible. But this will erase off your project. So what you can do with that, let me get T-square. So say you are making your T-square, you're using your T-square, and you want to mark because you want to put a word right there. Okay, so this goes with the bits and bobs, really. So you can mark where you want the things to go, and then once you've painted the thing, the paint will remove the ceramic lead. The water will do it, your eraser will do it. And so you can erase, you can mark on your project, you can, if say you wanted to pretend, say you were doing this one and you wanted to base this whole banner, you can use this to mark around your edges, and basically you're tracing a pattern. Okay, get that all marked in, and then you can paint it and fill it in. Okay, so now you have that to fill in, and now you could make that red behind it, and you could do it with gold letters on top of it, or whatever you wanted to do. So that's a really good way to turn your stencil into a drawing template.
Let me find that, because you did that in our fire pit video.
Oh, cool. I already did that.
You sure already did that exact same thing. But what I love about the Ghost Rider is you don't have to have a dark lead pencil, a light lead pencil. So you can use it on any of your projects, regardless of what color.
Yeah, because it has white on board, and then you twist it, and it has gray ceramic lead on board, and then it has a roller ball. So if you wanted to use graphite, if you wanted to do a rubbing with chalk or something like that, to do some tracing, you could do that. And then on the back end of it, it also has an eraser. So it's fully loaded for all your projects, one tool for them all. This is actually intended to use for quilting and fabric. So it actually will mark on your fabric as well. So it's an all DIY everything tool. So, and then it comes out of your fabric with no problem at all. There's no wax in it and stuff like that.
All right, I have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
Linda wants to know, I want to use glow-in-the-dark paint. Would it be better to stencil white first if she's doing the skeleton bones welcome?
You know, I think that's a really good idea. I think that if I wanted it to read color during the daytime, then I would definitely undercoat it and then put because the glow-in-the-dark medium isn't really like a color. It's kind of got a little cast to it.
Sheen.
Yeah, but it's not really a color. It's more of a light attracting and holding medium. And then put a couple of coats on that when you do it. So that, wouldn't that be fun on your front door, guys?
That
is so cool. Yeah.
And then our next question is from Vicky, and Vicky wants to know, can you stencil on a stretched canvas?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, Vicky. What I would do if I was painting, and I don't think we have any in here, but what I would do is I would find a book or stack a couple of surfaces or something like that under it, a box, depending on how thick your canvas is, just to give it some support, because it bounces, the canvas will bounce, and you want to give it that back support so it doesn't bounce.
Especially if you're going to stipple.
Yeah, yeah, if you're stippling especially, but even if you're swirling, you're kind of pushing into it. And if you stretch your canvas out, I'm not sure which camera I'm supposed to be looking at right now.
The front.
This one?
It doesn't matter.
Whatever
one. Rusty's waving.
Can
Look
you
at Rusty.
see me? Oh my land. We did some changing of the cameras, and so now I'm just like, I don't know. Anyway, but if you stretch your camera, if you stretch your canvas, you can mist it on the back with a spray bottle, and that's one of in our video about weird things to keep on your table. That is one of my favorites, because you never know when you're going to need some water, and I'm going to make that bonus tip number 7.
Yeah, because we already have a
watch, Rusty, can you get down here on this one? This is one of my favorite tricks. If you squirt on your palette paper, now it's white, and so it's a little hard to see. If you keep squirting, the balls of water get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they become something that you can pick up with your paintbrush if you just need a little bit of water. And that, look at them just disappear. Can you see it, Steve?
Tighter, Rusty.
You guys, it's like a little, it's kind of therapeutic.
Right there. Let's try it right there.
Okay, so watch that water disappear. It just sucks,
It shoots.
shoots right into the brush. And you can just pick them up one by one. And you can get, if you need just a little water, you can go on the edges. If you need a big water, you can go in the middle. And that just loads just that little bit of extra water, and it's magic.
I think we
And
should just shoot a small video.
I think we just need to sit and play with water bubbles all day long. Love it. Okay, what's next?
Okay, so number 5 is the click eraser.
Ooh, okay, so we're gonna make a mess. We're going to take this stencil. Actually, you know what? I want to use this one. This is one of my absolute favorite stencils. If you, this is, Kari's going to put a link. Good. In the bottom of our little corner right there, there's always an etched thing. This is number 544. Guys, we have 6,000 titles. So this was in the early days of 500s. And a lot of these stencils are designed because of needs that I had in my heart, if you know what I mean. Like, I just needed it. So I needed something that I could use as a background stencil. So this one just has all the different words, and then you can move it around and you can fill up, you know, a whole, you know, you could do a blanket chest, you could do a floor cloth, you could do a tree skirt, you know, all that kind of stuff.
I used that one on the Christmas cards.
Yes. Oh, it would be fabulous. And that's what where I was going next is this is a project like bits and bobs, right? The joy word is for a greeting card. You know, your Merry Christmas could be wrapping paper. The glory word, the hope, the peace, all of these words all can become standalone stencils. And then all of your snowflakes that are on here are a snowflake stencil. So you have in this one, you have like 17 different stencils in one stencil. So a lot of our stencils are built that way so that they are multi-purpose. Fire pit, you could do a whole bunch of things with this. The word toasted you know, could be fun for the right reason. Let's make a mess out of our snowflake.
And while you're making a mess,
I'm gonna make a mess.
Quick, I'm going to.
It's Happy Birthday Eve.
It's Happy Birthday Eve. I'm going to do another giveaway on YouTube. Melissa Applegate is going to get a fall leaves stencil. It's got several different leaves. It goes along with what Patty was talking about with this. You can use them as bits and bobs on all your different projects. So Melissa, congratulations, and I will send you my email address. And then on Facebook,
you guys, this leaf stencil is the bomb diggity because you can scatter leaves. You can do them tone on tone. You could make them spring color. You can make them fall color. They're amazing.
And our Facebook winner is going to be Janet Dimon. Janet's been with us for as long as I've been here. But Janet is going to get the fall leaves stencil on Facebook.
Janet, thank you. Okay, so now we're going to go over here and make a mess. So I'm going to not do the right thing. So the right way to use your dome brush is to dip into your paint with a dry brush.
Do you have a darker color by chance?
What?
A darker color.
Because of the palette paper?
I can't see it.
Okay. Let's go into it. Teal. Ooh. Hey, tip number 8. All right, guys, this is a really good example of what happens so we've been through fall, winter, and now we're coming into spring. This is a summer kind of color. Okay, so this has been sitting unused for a while. I'm just going to tuck that in water. Do not let your brushes sit out when you go take a phone call. Tuck it in the water. The brushes are affordable. I was going to say cheap, but they're not cheap. They're just affordable. So you want to treat your brushes right. If you are abusive to your brush, you can use like rubbing alcohol to get the paint out. You can use the wipes, the extra wipes you have laying around from pandemic land and stuff like that. You know, so like you can use things with alcohol in them to clean that hardened paint off of your brush, but it's just not good for your brush to do that. So you want to always shake your paint and watch the difference. So Rusty, I don't know if you can get close on that. It's super oily looking. It's a big bottle and it's full.
It is full.
It is full.
That might have been when we just filled up last week.
Okay, so we're gonna pop that open and take a look at the difference. Oh my goodness. So that's what happens when your paint is sitting is the good stuff settles to the bottom, and that's the weight. And then the slimy stuff, which is the stuff that makes it stick to things, is floats to the top. So you always need to shake your bottles. You can also flip your bottles over. So when you pull it out of the drawer, if it's upside right this time, put it back in upside down, as long as your lid is a good lid. Don't make a big mess. Okay, so let's get a different brush. So the normal way that you would load your paint is pick it up in a dry brush, wipe it off on your paper towel, and then you go over here and you just swirl or stipple. Stipple is this, swirl is this. And then when you look underneath, you're gonna have a nice clean effect, okay? What I have seen this on YouTube videos from professional crafters. What is it?
I made a what sound.
I was like, Steve, what are you doing? Is that a hairball? Okay, so I've seen professional people do this on video channels and stuff like that. They just like literally will pick up their paint and then they'll go over here and they'll just shove it on there. And then when you do that, you end up with a perfect amount of raised paint. I just hate it when I can't do it right. Okay, so when you get a smear, and I'm gonna move this because now that didn't smear, I have to make it smear someplace else.
And it might be easier to do the word rather than
I thought the snowflake would do it. Hey, look, it's a neat way to do a transfer. Okay, let's go into piece, and we'll just
because the word is gonna, or the snowflake is gonna be a little difficult to clean up.
I think what might have happened, I'm tapping this now because I think what might have happened is I just did a quick blob, and I think when you don't push on the paint, then and that's.
I mean, I can happily make some bleeding under. Let me do this. Limrith says, Limrith, she's our resident jokester. She always has good things for us. She said that her husband thinks that our brushes are like bunnies because they just keep multiplying around her house.
Limrith, I love you. How are you doing it? You're getting it perfect too. It's just our great stencils, right?
Let's see here. I'm going to actually get some off because even if you get some off, if you still don't have a lot on, you're still pushing really hard.
I'm trying to think.
Then there we go. Then
okay.
There's a little bit. It's not as goopy.
Yeah, so this will happen to you, and I'm just chuckling about, like, this has got erased everything. Maybe it's just teal color. I don't know.
And if you have it really goopy, it's going to be really hard to clean up.
Yeah, you all have had a bleeding understory. I've even had bleeding understories where I'm like trying to do it perfectly. Today I'm trying to do a bleed under and I can't get it to happen. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go, this is warbly, but I can't do anything with it while it's super wet. So I'm gonna go over here and just erase this O right here, Rusty. So you take your click eraser, it's a PVC eraser, and it's super fun to just make the sound. And you dip it in water. You can also spit on it, but we're not allowed to. And then you can go over here, and with paint that's about 5 minutes young, you can erase the paint. So if you make a mistake, you can dip into the water, and then you can erase with your eraser. So if you have a bleeded under edge, and it's super funny that we couldn't get that to happen today, but if you do have that, then that is a tool that you can use. Also, if you use the wrong color or if you ghost, ghosting is what happens when you're trying to stay within the joy and you're not using your MultiMasker, which would stop that, and you get a smear onto your snowflake. So say I wanted to have a card that was peace and I was giving it for like well-being to somebody, and it wasn't Christmas time. So I didn't want snowflakes around that. So that might be a reason for, you might get some ghosting on some things. You can just erase it with your click eraser, and that is a big fixer.
Yep.
So, all right.
All right, and then number 6, which is a bonus. We're gonna pull this back out because number 6 is layering stencils.
Okay. So this is our ongoing project that we're releasing on Saturday mornings at like 6:30, I think.
Mm-hmm. And you can watch it anytime, but if you're up early,
and if you want something to do on a Saturday and it's snowy, like, I don't know, like every other weekend in April.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Okay, so what is great about layering is the states are super interesting. If you have a travel trailer and you want to kind of mark off which ones you visited and do all that kind of thing, really neat. But we combined tea towel with One Nation Under God, and then we brought in the United States, and then we brought in a stencil that is just stars. So if I wanted to just have stars, this is the disc binder. This is the little punch. There's an Amazon affiliate link down below. That doesn't cost you any extra. It gives us a few pennies, but we just have to, by law, tell you that it's an affiliate link. We just don't carry that on our website. And our website, by the way, is StudioR12.com, and that's where you'll find all the cool things. All right, so you can take a stencil like this, and you can see I just used this amount of these stencils. You can use them all over. You can scatter them around. These would be fabulous in a kid's room. Make a little stardust trail, that kind of thing. But they pop in and pop out of the disc binder. And this is a really thin stencil right here with not a lot holding it together, but look at how sturdy that is. I can't make anything fall out. That's really wet teal paint. Go there. Anyway, and then we have so many embellishment things. So we've got cheetah print and tiger print and wood grain and butterflies, and there's the wood grain. Isn't that wonderful? So spider webs, all the things. So you can totally use all of those things to layer on your projects. So in this case, I put the state down there, and then I put the stars over the stencils. So for example, we've already done this. We've released this part already.
Yep, and I already shared that with everybody.
So you lay this piece over. Look at that kind of lined up. And then with that piece in place as a mask, then you layer over the top of it with your stencil, and then the mask part will prevent it from going where you don't want it, and then you can move that around, and then you have a layering stencil. And another cute example is, you know, doing your own Christmas or wrapping paper, and actually, like, birthdays are tomorrow, and you can send presents.
Yes, we do like presents. So I will say on this one, this was the first time that I layered stencils, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. And I took off my K, and then started doing this. It's like, wait a second, that's not right. So I just put a little bow right here, and nobody could tell until my bow fell off. But it can be hard when you're trying to think about the order that you put the stencils. And just knowing that your main shape that you want to fill with the color is going to be your mask. And that is very helpful because masking something means that you're preventing, you know, the identity of the thing to be seen, kind of thing. So the hole in the mask is going to be what is seen, and then you can, whatever has the thing over the top. We've had so many conversations about the masks.
Oh yeah, it messes with your brain when you're making a mask. We have not done very many masks as a stencil company. It's a really neat thing, and we will be having more because we've been having all the conversations. But it'll bend your brain. This is an example of a mask in a way. It's like it's kind of a stencil and it's kind of a mask.
Well, and we also have this, the whole of this, which is just the United States with everything out of it.
So welcome to our world.
Welcome to why we have our wine at lunch.
Yes. Cheers. Cheers to all of you guys. Thanks for joining us. And I hope that you've appreciated the tips, and let us know if you have questions.